and I'm not going to say anything, so you guys run the whole thing.
We decide when to like move on.
When to move on, which question you start with, who speaks, who doesn't, all of you.
What question do you guys want to start? What is ideology? I put ideology is the way we think about certain things and the way we act when we are in certain situation. And I feel like ideology impacts our opinions and what we know as our own truth.
I said ideology is something that we need / use in our daily lives. We use it to interpret and make sense of the world. Ideology starts as soon as conception and ends until death. And we can't live without it because it characterizes us by manipulating our decisions and actions. And our ideology is created by our system and government to control our society or population.
I want to question what you said about saying we can't live without it. So I think we as humans can still live without ideology, but we would just be like animals, you know, like other animals. So we would like become savages if we don't have ideology in our lives. The only thing is, I think we wouldn't understand like the structure of government. Like we wouldn't have any of that. And then I feel like eventually we'd probably just start like acting like savages and probably fight against each other over like food and stuff like that because we don't have the thought of good versus bad. But yeah, I feel like we can still function like without ideology, like in the basic sense, without just
I partially agree with you, but I kind of feel that even if we were savages, we would still have some sort of ideology because we would know that we have to survive, and we would need food and water, and our minds would tell us we need to hunt or we need to find safety as a shelter. We still need ideology to survive somehow.
So to you, what would it look like to survive without ideology?
Well, like I said, like we still need ideology, but if we don't,
So you're saying that we always have ideology?
in some sort of way, because you're born with it, so you're just like you're growing into your understanding how to survive, and you have to I don't know how to explain it. You just always need it somehow. It's just basic knowledge. It just gives you basic knowledge of the world.
I agree with you. We're always just gonna need ideology. We are born into ideology, and it's like even if we don't think about it, it's still gonna be there. It's still gonna be necessary for our daily lives.
Roger, your opinion, which ISAs and RSAs are necessary?
For that question, it was kind of hard for me to really figure out the answer to. But I think they're both necessary in order for them to both work out because they're going to need each other, just like how we read how the base and the structure work together for them to be one and for it to all work. So I feel like they're all going to have to be necessary for everything to work out.
adding on to what Roger said, I believe like the specific ISAs and RSAs, I believe that a government and religion is necessary. And for government, because it limits the freedom of people to a certain extent. So if there wasn't like a structural government, anyone could be out and like killing anybody they want without no specific rules and stuff like that. And I feel like a religion should be necessary too, because if you think about like all of the wars that have been stopped, they've usually had like a religious reason to end those wars, or you know, like religion, it kind of leads people to like the right path in life, you know, like that. I feel like that's what influences people's decisions and stuff. Even if you're not religious, you still have like kind of an ideology of what's right and wrong, and most of that comes from religion. So I feel like religion kind of helps us, no matter what religion you believe in, it kind of helps the world choose from right and wrong. And like, if there wasn't a religion, I feel like that would just cause more chaos in the world.
So you're pretty much saying that religion is kind of like the people, like.
Yeah, like we kind of need like religion. Not a certain religion, but you know, we just need something to guide us.
I think.
How do you know what is right and wrong?
And I know I know what's right and wrong from the influences. Like I'm Catholic, so and I've been taught to be Catholic from my parents since a very young age. And so what I know from what is right and wrong, I've learned that throughout like going to church and stuff like that, or also going to school. Like they teach you what's the right thing to do, what's the bad thing to do. So, you know, like we can agree on what's right and wrong just by similar influences that we had, like the similar religious ideas that, you know, that kind of relate to each other, or we go to a school that teaches the same values.
But don't you think that that's an example of
Uh, yeah, it is, but I still think it's necessary for us. Like I don't think all groupthink should be considered bad. I feel like if you follow someone who, for example, like a dictator, like I remember earlier in the year we talked about like Hitler and how everyone just followed whatever he said, and I feel like some groupthink could be used positively.
What's your opinion on this thing?
I feel that groupthink is just a way to like, I just used to say like control us, like how the ISA. But I mean, if we were just controlled by the ISA, I feel like there wouldn't, like, it's not certain that there would not be at least one person that would cause any damage, like how Daniel said, that we kind of do need religion. But I mean, that's why the RSA is there too, to like keep us with our ISA. So like also agreeing to what Roger said, that it helps us like, it helps them like balance each other out.
Well, I think groupthink, I feel like for it to be established, you need to have like a good leader, like someone that everybody agrees upon. Because if you have a bad leader, I don't think groupthink could actually evolve or create itself. Like Hitler, he was a good dictator because he managed to control everyone because of his ideas and everything. So that's why I have groupthink. It's like really useful because of his ideas pretty much.
I think that like I don't really think that, well, in like certain occasions it could be good, but I feel like it doesn't let people think freely for themselves, just base their like actions on what someone else tells them, like someone above them, I guess.
What do you think is a good example?
A good example. Well, I'm not sure.
10 minutes.
Was Marx accurate with his critiques of capitalism? And how accurate? For me, I say yes, because he made me realize that the society that we live in is kind of old-fashioned. It's really old-fashioned, and it's a different time when they were around, and the new way how our life is. And so like we need to change that because it's kind of unfair. And then also like and I feel like our capitalist society does make people cruel, and it affects us in negative ways. And like how we treat people, like we could be like, this is like saying like, for example, like Ramiro, like this is my friend I know for so long, but then like we're at work and I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna take you down because I want to be higher. And it's like that's not a good way of just showing how that we're supposed to be together, and how like capitalism try to make us go against each other so we can just basically follow their ways of succeeding and being successful.
I feel like Mark's critiques were accurate because, like Ashley was saying, you see examples of it in our lives. Like, for example, like in the movie, it says that money was our God. And if you look at it now, we do anything, we fight and we work for money so we could be successful because that's what we're taught. And yeah, and for the creativity, for alienation, we also see that because sometimes we don't think outside the box, because sometimes we believe that, oh, we should only stay here and we shouldn't, go beyond our expectations. So I feel like that is a border from really actually seeing who we are or being unique as a person.
Angel, what is your thought?
I think what you said, it's not fair. I honestly think that we need this, because if everybody was the same, what's the point? Like if we need those people who work at McDonald's, and we need the people who are rich, but I feel like if everything was in one bubble and everything was the same, that everybody would have no purpose, and everybody would have no need to try.
Do you mean like in the same bubble? What do you mean by that?
Like, if everyone was equal, making the same wages, having the same of everything, there would be no point.
So like they can't level up? Is it
Yeah, you can't move.
Isn't equality better though? Because it takes away the problem of poverty, because everybody's equal, they don't need, they basically have everything they need.
Because there's no point. Like,
So
you
you'd
have
rather
no more motivation when there's
you'd rather have capitalism, a place where top 1% controls most of the money in the U.S.
Yeah.
And a lot of the people who are poor don't have a lot of the materials they need to basically live.
I feel like Angel, she's referring to a communist society, because if you think about it, in a communist society, everybody has everything the same. Nobody can rank up and nobody can rank down. So I understand her point of what she's saying, that there will be no purpose or no diversity because everybody is the same. Nobody can, have a different job, or because usually in our capitalist society, if you have a better job, you get more wages. So I kind of understand Angel's point of if we all have the same thing. Well, for me, she's referring to a communist
Yeah,
society.
I feel like competition is better.
I feel like agreeing with Angel, I do believe what she just said. Competition is fair, because I feel like we should be able to earn what we work for. So it's kind of your fault if you work at a really low expectation. That's why you're making the wages you're making. But if you're putting yourself and you're making yourself a better worker, a harder worker, doing different jobs, you get more of that raise and you deserve that. We learn that history. It's meritocracy, yeah. So I just feel the capitalist society is it's more so you get what you deserve. That's how I think
And
of
then
it.
a communist government, if if you work harder than somebody else and you make the same wages,
Like, what's the point? You're gonna expect more, but you can't get that because you're all equal.
True, but what if you do work hard, but they still not giving you the right thing that you are because based on your looks or your race or who you are?
then you move on to something different.
I agree and disagree with Mark's critiques of capitalism. And then, I think, first of all, I don't agree with the statement that says capitalism is outdated or outmoded, because I feel like capitalism has evolved as we have evolved. It has been changed to fit our society. You know, we have seen different ways in that our economy functions because of like technology and because of the different jobs we have now. Like capitalism just like shifts in general, and then communism. It may sound as perfect like as he makes it seem, but if you look at like different communist societies in the world now, like it's not all like so pretty as it sounds. And then
2 minutes. 2 minutes.
the last point is I feel like when he says that that capitalism makes people cold-hearted, I agree and disagree with this statement, because I feel like in a capitalist society, there's a lot more people who are cold-hearted, but I feel like the cold-heartedness could still exist in a communist society, like how you guys were talking about someone working hard and wanting more, even though they can't. Like they'll probably do something cold-hearted to get something more without anyone else knowing.
I agree with what you're saying. I want to build off of it. Like a prime example is like workaholics who do anything, even to like isolate themselves away from their friends. Like the second critique, alienation, and then also the third one as well. The cold-heartedness makes people, want to do anything just to get to their success.
But what's the point of being better than somebody if you're already equal?
Well, what I'm saying,
Like in a communist society, if everybody's equal, what would be the point of being better than others?
Being better than others.
yeah.
Is that really a necessity?
Well, it's not a necessity for some people, but other people might say it is. If they're raised thinking that if they're better than someone else, they'll be better off. So obviously you're gonna try to be better than everyone else if you want to have a better life for yourself. It's not thinking it in a way like, oh, like I want to be better than everyone else. But you're kind of thinking of it in a way that, oh, I want the best for myself. So obviously you're gonna try to do the best to make everyone else worse so you can make the best for yourself. And that's basically what Marx was saying. It like pits us against each other.
I think we should move on to the last question.
That's the end.
Oh.
Time.